Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have two things to celebrate. First is our channel now have 8 million subscribers. So very soon we will have 10 million subscribers. Looking forward to that. And another, it's about this video on my Instagram. Literally got 3 million views. It's my first video, got millions views. I was very surprised. I decided to make this video to share how do I make this. So we will have something to talk about. One section is all about material. Then we will be talk about the animation. Then we will be talk about the rendering. How do I render this video relatively quickly, only 32 samples. Also, I will be sharing this whole project file on my Patreon, Gumroad, and Blender Market. So now let's jump in to talk about this viral project. First, I make this character using human generator add-on. I have made a lot of video about that. You can go check this video out. And if you want to download this add-on, please use this link. So I make a lot of improvement for the shader when I make these characters. Now I'm going to talk about the shader that I improve. First, let's talk about the eye material. I make a improve for the human generator's eyes material. If we take a look at this character's eyes, kind of looks like a zombie. Now let's go to the original eye material. Okay, so this is the original human generator's eyes. You can see it didn't look so good. You can see the pupil, not really correct. So this is the improvement. Okay, you can see all this and the darker ring around the black part. So let's take a look about this shader. So in this shader, basically there's like two parts. This is the darker area and this is the white area. And this is the darker ring, which is this. See this a little bit blue part. And above here is the blood vessel, make it stronger, much stronger than this. And all this normal, you don't need to change that. And this is the some extra function that we'll talk about that later. So let's talk about this black part first. So it's the darker area. Here we have a hue, a saturated value. So change the basic color directly by dragging the hue. Actually, you don't really need to do that. You can just change the color directly from here. This color ramp. Let me duplicate this to save this. We can change it this color to like a red. So you can see you can change position of this ramp blue over here. And you can add more color. This maybe goes to green. So you can switch the color as you wish. Here is like also a hue saturation value. There is a darker over here. You can drag this to all the way very quickly. Turn your eyes to be like black. And if you don't want, just mute this. Okay, and let's talk about this white part. So this can also just switch the color as you wish. Okay. This is more close to the black part and this is all the way to the back. And also we have this to tint the final color. One overall to be a little bit warmer. Just drag this. That is the white part. It will not affect the black area. And this is a very important part for the darker area around the black part. So if I mute this, you can see this part is really weak. You can see the original material didn't even have. So now we do have a little bit. That is because over here, the black part, I already give like a darker color around the black part. So you can see a little bit, but it's better that we have this because we want it to extend out and become like a little bit blue. So this is area control. So you can just control this curve to give range. Here is the darkest, so it's like a black ring. Here it's a little bit inside, and here is outside. You can control the curve to give a different result. tweak that as you wish. Okay, and this is the color. I give a little bit bluish hue, and also this like how strong. I don't want it to be all the way, so give like that. And let's talk about this blood vessel. Also, you can just mute this, so it will be gone back. And this is the color of it. Don't really need to change that, but you can. And so most important part is these two red edge. So we drag this all the way to here. You can get like a totally red eye, like a vampire corner to be redder. You can do that. This is the vessel. You can see how strong you want the vessel to be, something like that. Okay, and here is the pattern. You just give like a seed if you don't like this pattern right now. And this is the thinner or wider. Okay, so now let's talk about more. Oh, here don't really need to change that. Let's talk about these two sharp function. If we take a look at this character, you can see eyes really looks like kind of like a zombie. Pupil is open all the way and even like wider than the black part, and it had like a fall off. So we can do that for this character by using these two. So first, let's talk about this one, red pupil. If you see some photo, you can see the character will have the red pupil because of the flashlight. So let's unmute this. You can see this character have this red eye. See through the pupil to the back of our eyes. So if you give a more roughness, okay, and if you switch the light, it will a little bit different, will be like totally red sometimes. That's because of the shadow cast from top of the eyes. Okay, so now we have this red eye. Now talk about this pupil transparent. We have this mask to cut out this area. So let's unmute this. So with it, drag this. So now you actually kind of make your pupil wider or even wider. And if we switch, not using the glassy red, we're using this, you kind of get that result with the correct lighting. You can get that result. So that is the inner part of the eyes. And now let's talk about this, the clear part of the eyes. So it will be much simpler. This is like transparent to take off outer shell, and this is the reflection. Just give a little bit, and all the other part that you don't really need to change that. And this is for the EV. So this is the improvement I make for human generators eyes. This will be on my Patreon, or you can go Gumroad to download this. And after you download that, you just drop the file into your SS library. You will see this. And you just simply just create your human generators character, and you just go to your SS library. Okay, and you just simply drop 2 times. We'll see your shader over here. We only use the top 2, so the first one we choose the outer, so it's correct, and the second one we want to switch it to the one that we're dropping, which is this one. So let's switch to this. Okay, then you're done. Isn't it looks much better? And also for the teeth material, I have make improve a little bit. It's in the same file. You have download this, you can get the teeth material improve, something like this. It is better than the default. It's not much, just like make some color of the subsurface. I feel better. Okay, so that is the eyes of this character. Then let's talk about another very important part of this work. That is the finger. We will be focusing on the nail material and also this dead skin. How do I make this nail? I have already talked about in the previous video. You can watch this. So in this video, we will not talk about how to make this, but only talk about the material. After we make the nail from the human body, how do we make it the material like this kind of color following this. If we go to the weight paint, I've made a weight paint called nail factor that I'm using over here. So you just click on the end of the nail and it will make this kind of color ramp. After we got this, we can use attribute. Okay, and just using this name, nail factor, it looks kind of like that. So we feed it to a color ramp to control the factor to make it to become something like this, different layers that we wanted the color to be. And then we just feed it another color ramp for the color. And after that, you just give it to the basic color and you can get something like this. And then another part, like this kind of line, very realistic line for the fingernail. It's using the wave picture. It will give a line. You set something directly like this. Take a look at this. Give this color to the bump. It will become like a normal. You can also using this nail factor to give us a little bit fall off, because to the end it will become weaker. It will be a little bit smoother. And you just feed that to the normal so you can get the bump for your fingernail. That is the nail material. Also, I will be putting this on my Patreon. If you join my Patreon, you can just download that. Okay, and then let's talk about the dead skin. You might be wonder, how do I make this dead skin for the finger? It's actually quite simple. I'm just using hair, and then I make it like a very white, and also I give material. So if you have watched my hair tutorial and my hair note, you know I have a set material for my note setup. You just using the hair factor to control the color, because I wanted the end looks like a red and the tips looks white, so something like that, and it looks like a dead skin. So now let's take a look at the skin material. And also this blood vessel is actually really popping out from the model, but it's not by sculpting. And also this dot on the skin, like an acne or a disease. How do we achieve that? By using the human generators material. So actually I make a very big switch for the material, but actually the idea is not very difficult. If you have seen the default skin, you can really tell it's a very big improve compared to that. First, I have talked about in my previous video, we make this darker area using the layer weight. We make the corner darken, so we really give a more powerful flashlight. You can see that video. Also, I have learned something about controlling the subsurface scattering. That is our main color, right? And we take this and we feed it to the RGB curve, and also using a hue saturation value. And then we just take this result to the radius of the subsurface, and also we switch this to the skin. This radius means color. It will control the color of your subsurface scattering. You just play around with this RGB to be what you want. It's the result that I'm using. You can take a look at that. It's best you give the color a little bit green. It really looks like our skin. And also when we make the vessel pop, you can see this black vessel become like a green. That is because of that. So you just using these two, make it green, okay? And then you can improve your character skin. So now let's talk about the acne of the skin. So it's this part. Okay, so basically it's just like an area you create the middle of your character's basic color. So mostly just using this void noise texture. You see this void noise texture, it looks like this. So after you give a color ramp, make some part stronger and give to the color ramp for it have color. And then you just feed this to your basic color. So you got this. Okay, and some part is bigger, some part it's smaller. That is because for the size, the scale. For the scale, I give another noise texture to control the scale. So I give it 3 different type of scale, so using 3 different color, and then feed that to the scale, so you can have like 3 different size. And also you can using the result from here for the power of your subsurface scattering. The result will be, you can see the middle part, it will be have more subsurface scattering, so it's like a more see-through, it's more realistic and more disgusting. That is the dot for the skin. And then let's talk about the vessel for the character, even hand. So that's go to the characters, go to weight pen. All this is the pop selection. Actually, I didn't paint this. I just go to the animal, just basically like select wherever you want it to be like pop out. So I have select all this area. I want it to pop out, make it to be a selection, and using this place and just choosing this pop and give the string very weak because you don't want it to be pop so much. And also you need to use a subdivision in front of it, so you have more like smaller face to popping out, so it will be looks sharper. And then after that, you can use this selection as an attribute in your material called pop. You just call another attribute and then select the selection of this name, and you make it give the value to your subsurface scattering, either to the weight or to the scale. So all the parts that have been popping out, it will be more subsurface scattering, so it will be more like transparent. So that is more realistic. So that is the skin texture for this character. And also I will be sharing this whole file, the file that you see right now. I will be sharing this file on my Patreon, so you can go download that, you can go check that out. Now we done talk about all the material of this character. Now we can talk about the animation. The animation basically all without any keyframes, only the finger. So we have the animation about the facial random expression, and also like blinking, also the eyeball movement, and also we even got the breath like up and down, and we have this earring hanging animation. First, let's talk about the eyes movement that I have been mentioned before in a separate video. You can go check that out. It's using the node that I built, so you can give a realistic random look point and also eyeball shaking. So it's already on my Patreon and my Gumroad. You can go check that out, or you can go watch that video. And by using the same method, I have made another tools that is controlling the face. Okay, so it's this one. It's a mask that I put on the bone. Idea is to make all these kind of tools that can control bones, including fingers. Already make one for the breath over here. It's controlling the breath. You can see the shoulder is moving. After I'm done with all these bone animation tools, I will also be share that. But right now, I'm just giving this idea that you can do that. Okay, so the finger right now is controlling by the keyframe, so it's nothing to talk about that. Just using the traditional animation method. Now let's talk about the ears ring. How do we make this whole piece of ears ring? Controlling by the physics. If we using like physics to control like the collision body and to make it hanging, it will be very heavy and maybe not even be ideal because it will be too small and it might be like a jumping too much. So the idea is using you see this is a piece of wire, and using this as a cloth. Okay, so using cloth simulation, make it hanging first. Also using surface diffusion, and I pick this as the target, and with some setting you can make this whole thing to follow this cloth, and you will be hanging. And the detail I will be talk about this in the separate video. I will be step by step tell you how to do this. Also, it can control your hairs by geometry node. You see this animation is the newest video that I did. You see the hair is hanging. It's using basically this method to do that. I will make this video in the future. So that is basically the idea how you make this. That is all about the animation. Okay, now let's talk about rendering. How do I render this animation? Because I didn't want it to take so much time to render, so I only using 32 sample to each frame, and I turn on this denoise. Each frame take very short time, and also the resolution give a twice of the HD, so it's always like a 4K video. Because I'm using denoise, so if you use like a very low sample and also you apply the denoise, sometimes you will get like a blur artifact that is very ugly. So you have to give a very high resolution to reduce the artifact of the denoise. So after you render this, your image will look a little bit soft because of the denoise. So using this file to the DaVinci Resolve, and then I apply a sharpen filter to kind of like even out of the softness coming from the denoise. The final result will be much more punchier and also without the noise. So that is how I try to make a quicker render, and you can try it to using in your render. And that is basically everything on this video, and maybe in the future I can be talk about I learn a new method to make this tier line. It will be looks better. Before I make it to be like a tube, and now it's like the opposite of a tube, a thin layers around the eyes. I think it looks more realistic. Another is the hair that I have talked about before previous video for my hair node, and very soon I will make an update for this hair node tools. If you have already using this or you wanted to download that, now is a good time because very soon I will make an update for the 4.1 blender. It's a very huge update for geometry node because now we have like a different stack for our attribute. It will be much cleaner. And also the camera, I have using camera assistance that I have mentioned before. Also now it's on my Patreon and my Gumroad to make this handshaking or like a movement. So that is how I make this video for 3 million views on the Instagram. And I just wanted to share with you, and I'm very happy the result, and I hope you enjoy it. I will be seeing you on my next video. Take care. Bye bye.